Hey guys, this is your host Nitin Binhani and a very warm welcome to my startup podcast channel Jazair Audio, where we share real stories with real learnings. So under Jazair Audio, I also have this Startup Guru sub-series wherein these bonus podcasts are auto-generated from the amazing insights shared by many acclaimed experts either on their LinkedIn profile or as a thread on Twitter. So guys, here is our bonus podcast for today.
Today's podcast is based on the tweet thread on How to Tranche Your Fundraising by Elizabeth Yin, the co-founder of Hustle Fund. This is especially relevant for founders who are keen to get a momentum in raising pre-seed and seed funds. So without further ado, let's start with how to tranche your fundraising. Firstly, the concept of a fundraising round is basically dead at the early stages. Most of the rounds like pre-seed, seed or even post-seed are being done either on safes or notes. This is true even from the well-known larger firms. This is even great for the entrepreneurs, because it means you can just agree on a cap as well as the discount plus the amount an investor can sign and wire with no legal costs. Also, you don't need a lead investor to raise money. Founders can simply download the SAFE agreement, which is available on the Y Combinator website, and mutually sign with the investors. Using SAFEs, you have the liberty to raise funds, either at one go, or raise in tranches, that is part now, and the rest at later dates. Using safes, you can even raise continuously every quarter. This flexibility is gold compared to raising with equity. The most important benefit with raising in tranches is that founder can decide on a valuation cap, which is different for each investor. No longer does every investor have to be in the same round with the exact same terms, and this makes sense. Investors who invest at the much early stages are taking more risks, and thus should benefit accordingly. Your investors should be different in their value adds, so shouldn't they get different terms? Lastly, safes and notes gives the entrepreneurs more leverage in creating the FOMO. It allows founders to create more urgency and to make investors decide faster. So now that we've established the logic behind raising in tranches, let's evaluate how you can actually do this. Let's say you are raising $1 million. If you go to investors and say you are raising $1 million, most of them won't commit so easily. Why? Because it's better for the investor to wait until some investors do commit to you. But since you are very far from raising this full $1 million, the investors love to wait or hold on their investments. This is not a good situation for any entrepreneur. Unfortunately, this is like a chicken and egg situation. Investors won't commit until there are other committed investors. This is where the tranche strategy helps. One way to solve this bottleneck is to break up your $1 million raise into smaller pieces or tranches. For example, you can break this $1 million into 3 tranches of $300,000 to $400,000 each. So, while you are still telling the investors that you're raising full $1 million, but for those who can move fast, you are doing the first $300,000 tranche on special terms. For example, you can initially offer a much lower cap and/or discount on a safe for the first $300,000. However, inform the investors that this limited offer will expire until so-and-so date or until you hit the $300,000 in signed safes. Also that this valuation cap will most likely go up after the first $300,000 tranche. This allows the investors who commit early to be rewarded for being early. It also allows you to get the momentum on your raise, but most importantly it allows you to test the pricing of the cap. If you have a ton of demand on that special first tranche, it means that your valuation cap is too low. However, if you have no demand, then the valuation cap is either too high or no one is interested. If no one is interested on these special terms, then you have a bigger problem and should probably pause your fundraising. Often it's hard to know if your valuation cap is too low or too high, assuming that investors are interested. So, by testing with a small tranche, you are not giving up much even if you have priced too low, but that momentum is far too valuable for you. Moreover, once you have raised some money, you now need subsequent cash even less. So, you can now afford to ask for a higher cap on the subsequent tranches. As you get close to filling the first tranche, it is also the time to go back to all investors you have been in touch with and keep them abreast of this fundraising. I would write, "Hey, just wanted to let you know, we have successfully raised $300,000 of our first tranche, and will soon raise next $300,000 round on SAFE. Would you like to catch up sometime?" Once you fill this first tranche on special terms, you can assess whether it was easy or hard for you to raise. If it was hard, you might not want to increase the cap, or try increasing the discount. Alternatively, you may even consider postponing the rest of the fundraise, depending upon your learnings of the first tranche. The tranche strategy works alike with big and small investors. If you are approaching large lead investors, you still tell them, "Hey, I'm raising $1 million round, while I'm bringing in smaller checks on a party round SAFE, but we are still raising a large round that fits your sweet spot." If a large investor wants to come in, they will offer you an equity deal, and you can then roll all your SAFEs into the round at that time. This is how to reconcile the lead investors into this process. In my experience, leads often get more conviction if a SAFE party round is going well. However, if no lead investor wants to come in, then you can party round SAFEs successfully with this tranche strategy. There is no reason to hold up your fundraising while waiting for a lead investor. I advise all founders to keep talking with lots of investors, big and small. Ultimately, what really gets fundraising done is the momentum. Through tranche strategy, you create urgency so that investors will prioritize their fundraising decision on your venture over all others.
So, with this, we have reached the end of this podcast. Are you a founder of an early stage startup and looking to raise funding? Get your startup investor ready before even you start pitching to your prospective investors. For know-how, please visit www.jasaro.in. That is www.jasaro.in.